Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's Lucas from No Code Buffs, and today I want to teach you how to integrate the Responses API with web search into Bubble.io. So if you want to learn more about no code, if you ever have any questions or want to join a group of people in the same journey, join the No Code Buffs community. It is completely free. So let's take a deeper look at what we're going to do in this tutorial. So I'm moving on to the dashboard, and here I want to show you exactly what we're capable of using the web search in OpenAI. So I will start by creating a new chat prompt. And I will make sure that I'm here on Responses API instead of chat completion. And what we'll have to do is to add a web search tool. We have a bunch of options here that we can configure. I'll just click add for now. And now our model has access to the web search. So if we ask a question like, what is the Tesla stock price today? It will have to search the web. It doesn't have this information on its training data, so it will need to search the web to come up with a response. So let's take a look at what it does. Reasoning, fetching Tesla's stock price, searching the web, checking price details, analyzing trade data, clarifying price change calculations, presenting Tesla stock information. So it comes back with the information from October 11th, 2025. Tesla stock is trading at this price. Okay, so let's take a look at how we can integrate this functionality into Bubble. If we come here on the API reference and then click on responses, create a model response, we'll see here the JSON for the API call integration, and we can click here on web search and find this example request. So let's click on copy this JSON, this curl request, and let's move to Bubble, okay? So if you haven't downloaded the API connector from the plugins, you can do so here. It is the first option, and then let's set up a new API call. So let's click here, let's click on expand for this API call here in the bottom. And essentially we can delete this one actually and click here on import another call from curl. So if I paste the curl example request that we've copied from the OpenAI page and click import, it will essentially import this call here. Now, we can notice here that we have the headers, so authorization and content type. And if we don't want to configure this again for every API call, we can move these to the shared headers. Okay, so let's do that first and move these here to the top. Okay. And now we can delete these ones. So let's call our new API name something like OpenAI, and our call name would be something like Responses API Web Search, right? And I want to be able to use this in my workflow, so I'll choose use as action. Now, I need to configure my API key. So let's go to OpenAI again. Let's click on dashboard and let's go to API keys. I'm going to create a new secret key. The name will be something like web search. And then I'll leave it at all permissions and create the secret key. And I'm going to copy this, right? So let's move back to Bubble, and then we can paste our API key here. So that's configured. Now let's configure the JSON body here. So I want to make sure that I can access some of these values dynamically within my workflows. And so what I'll do here is to add these brackets to create keys that we can update dynamically within the workflows, okay? So this one will be model. Now, for the web search, we're using here the web search preview, and this is actually outdated on the documentation. If we just use web search, we will be able to access the latest functionality with the web search tool. And the prompt, I also want to change this dynamically within my workflow, so I'll add a prompt here. And if we want, we can also add some system instructions by using the key instructions, okay? So let's add a dynamic value here as well, instructions. And so we've created these keys here at the bottom, okay? If we uncheck private, this means that we are able to access this value dynamically within our workflows. And if we keep it private, we can configure it here, but we'll not be able to access through the UI, okay? So for the model, I will check private. I don't want to be able to change this on the workflow. not for now at least. And so let's keep this private. And then for the prompt and system instructions, I'll keep it private as well. But for the prompts, I want to be able to edit this. Okay. For the instructions will be something like search the web and respond to the user's request. And make sure to add here some quotes. Okay. And for the prompt, let's add some quotes as well. And let's say, what is the Tesla stock price today? Okay. And so I believe we should be ready to initialize the call. So we've got an error here. So failed to parse JSON value. Let's try to debug this. Okay, I see. So I've left the quotes here on instructions. So if we remove this, instructions doesn't have quotes, input prompt neither, model has quotes. And so let's try this again and see what we get. So I'm assuming that the API call went through. Let's see the results. Perfect. So Bubble has received the response back. And if we scroll down and click on show raw data, we will see the JSON output response. And if we look at output, we will find here content, and then the first item in the content array should be the response here. So you're asking for the Tesla price today. Here are the latest figures I have. And so this was successfully executed here. Okay. So now let's take a look at how we can add this functionality within the app itself, right? So we've configured the API call. Now let's try to use this API call, right? So if I click here on design, I've configured this really quickly. So it's basically a multi-line input and a button. And here is just a text element that I want to be able to show the response, right? And so what I'm thinking here is that the user will, type something here. And then when I click the button, we will call the API, get the response, and then place the response in some sort of state on the page. And so we can essentially display the response here. So actually, if we click on insert dynamic data and find the page itself, so web search, this is what my page is called, and then create a new custom state. Let's do the response, and this will be a text. Okay. So let's place the response here at the web search custom state whenever we get the response. Okay. And so now we have the multi-line input. And then if we click on this button, we can start a new workflow. So let's type OpenAI, and we can find here the response API web search. And now we need to configure the prompt, which will be whatever it's written on the multi-line input. And we need to make sure that it's formatted as JSON safe. Okay. So this will essentially place the quotes around the prompt and make sure that it will format as a JSON safe text, no matter if the user has input some quotes as well in the prompt. And so this will make sure that it is correctly formatted for the API to ingest this prompt. Okay. And so now I want to be able to set the state of the page, which is the web search page. Let's find the response custom state. And the response here will be the result of step 1, which is the result of the OpenAI call. And then we can find the output key. And then we can find each item's content, first item text. Okay. So this will retrieve the response from that raw JSON output text that we've seen. Okay. And now I believe we're ready to test this. So let's click on preview and let's write something. Let's write the prompt that we had, right? So what is the Tesla stock price today, right? So we can see here the loading bar, and the API call has been sent, and then we'll receive the response back, which should be displayed here. So perfect. So nice catch, the word price. Here's the Tesla latest price. Okay, perfect. And so, we can try something else like, what is the weather today in Sao Paulo, Brazil? So it will start processing again, and we should soon get the response back. Perfect. So here's the current weather in Sao Paulo, Brazil for Saturday, October 11th. The conditions mostly clouded, about 23 Celsius degrees, which is 73 Fahrenheit and whatnot. So, the model is able to web search in real time, which is some really good functionality to have whenever you're dealing with AI inside your application. So this concludes our tutorial today. If you have any questions or new video suggestions, comment down below. And again, if you want to connect directly with me and a bunch of other no-code developers and solopreneurs learning and using everyday no-code and AI, join No Code Buffs, okay? So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.